I was born in Varanasi, India, in 1828. My given name was Manikarnika, but I was also known as Manu. My family belonged to the Maratha caste, which was known for their military prowess. My father, Morapant Tambe, was a court advisor in the Peshwa Baji Rao II's court. My mother died when I was only 4 years old, and I was raised by my father and grandmother. As a child, I received a traditional education, which included reading, writing, and arithmetic. However, I also received training in martial arts, horseback riding, and sword fighting. My father believed that it was important for me to be physically strong and able to defend myself, as well as mentally sharp. In 1842, at the age of 14, I was married to Raja Gangadhar Rao of Jhansi. He was a kind and generous man who recognized my intelligence and abilities, and he encouraged me to take an active role in the administration of Jhansi. Together, we worked to improve the lives of the people of Jhansi, and I became known for my fair and just rule. However, our happiness was short-lived. In 1851, my husband died without leaving an heir. The British East India Company, which controlled much of India at the time, saw this as an opportunity to annex Jhansi and take control of its wealth and resources. They refused to recognize me as the rightful ruler of Jhansi and instead installed a British governor. I refused to accept this injustice. I gathered my troops and fought back against the British. I was determined to defend my people and my land, and I was not afraid to fight for what I believed in. In 1857, the Indian Rebellion broke out, and I joined forces with other Indian leaders to fight against British rule. I became known as Rani Lakshmibai, and I led my troops into battle with great courage and determination. I rode into battle on horseback, dressed in men's clothing, with my young son tied to my back. I fought fiercely for my people, and I refused to back down even when the odds were against me. However, the British were ultimately too powerful, and Jhansi fell to their forces in 1858. I was forced to flee, but I continued to lead my troops in battle against the British in other parts of India. In the end, my efforts were not enough to stop British rule in India. However, my legacy lived on, and I became a symbol of resistance and bravery for future generations. My story has inspired countless people to fight for their freedom and to stand up against injustice. I am proud to have played a part in this legacy. As I reflect on my life and my struggles, I have a message for the young generation of today. It is easy to become discouraged and disheartened when faced with injustice and oppression. However, it is important to remember that we are all capable of making a difference. It is up to each and every one of us to stand up for what is right and to fight for justice, even when the odds are against us. We must remember that change is possible, but it requires courage, determination, and perseverance. We must be willing to make sacrifices for what we believe in and to stand up for those who cannot stand up for themselves. We must also remember that we are not alone in our struggles and that there are always others who are fighting for the same causes as we are. In my own struggle for freedom, I was not alone. I was supported by my people, my army, and my fellow Indian leaders. Together, we were able to make a difference, even though we did not ultimately succeed in our goal of defeating the British. I urge the young generation of today to seek out others who share their passions and beliefs, and to work together to bring about positive change in the world. It is important to remember that we are stronger together than we are alone. I also encourage young people to educate themselves about the world around them and to stay informed about current events. It is only by understanding the issues that we face that we can work to address them and bring about meaningful change. Finally, I would like to remind young people that freedom is not something that can be taken for granted. It must be fought for and defended, and it is up to each and every one of us to do our part to protect it. We must never give up in our pursuit of freedom and justice, and we must always be willing to stand up for what we believe in. In closing, I hope that my story will serve as an inspiration to future generations, and that my message will be heard loud and clear. Let us all work together to create a better world, one that is free, just, and equitable for all.